Yeah, let's talk about the hydrology. So, have you ever wondered about water, how does water actually move on the earth? Like, are you aware about the hydrological cycle? Or you know about from rain to river and to groundwater, how it will be going like this. So, in this image, you can see the hill, some glacier, some clouds, and the stream, and some groundwater. You can see the subsurface. So, we will clearly discuss about the hydrological system. Okay. First, we will talk about the what is hydrology. So hydrology is the study of water on the earth. It looks at how water moves through environment, including rainfall, river, groundwater, and evaporation. Hydrology helps us understand the water cycle and how water resources are managed for activity like drinking, farming, and flood controls. Okay, so the key focus area is like precipitation, surface water, groundwater, and evaporation and transpiration. And we are also saying the evapotranspiration. Okay, so if we focus only on the precipitation, so precipitation, first a cloud will form, and from the cloud there will be rainfall or maybe the snowfall will be. Okay, so this is the precipitation. Then the second surface water, like once the precipitation occur, then the water will move on a surface. So this is called the surface runoff. Then the groundwater. So once on this surface runoff flow on a surface or on the river, so it will recharge to the groundwater. Okay, and some of the water will evaporate from the surface. Okay, so there are several branches of the hydrology. First one is like surface hydrology. So in surface hydrology, we'll talk about the surface water features like lake, river, water, streams. Okay, the groundwater hydrology. So we'll study about what is beneath the earth surface. Okay, and next one is like hydroclimatology. So in hydroclimatology, we need to understand the relationship between water system and the climate. So we are linking climate along with the water cycle. And the next one is hydrogeology. So we have to focus on the property and the movement of the groundwater. So these four are the key branches of a hydrology. Then water cycle. So if we're just talking about the water cycle, so there are multiple components and the key processes like evaporation, so evaporation, transpiration, precipitation, infiltration, and the runoff. So these five are the key processes in a hydrological cycle or the water cycle. Like if we talk about the evaporation, so water turns into vapor from the ocean, lakes, and the river or any water body. Okay, so this is called the evaporation. So suppose we have a water body. So from water body, if the temperature is high, so water will convert into the vapor and it will go to the atmosphere. Okay, this is first process. Second process, transpiration. So water release from plant into the atmosphere. Okay, so like plant species is there, like green species are there. So those things will comes under the part of the transpiration. So we need to understand how this green cover will impact and how the water will release from the plants. And then precipitation. So precipitation is the third key process. So we need to understand the rain, snow, sleet, or hail falling on the earth. Okay, falling to the earth. And the next one is infiltration. So infiltration, like water seeping into the ground. Okay, so that's procedure called the infiltration. And then runoff, how the water is moving from upstream to the downstream. Okay, then we'll just jump to the importance of the hydrology. So importance like there are water resource management aspect, flood management, drought, and the environmental conservation. So if you just talk about the water resource management, so it will ensure the ability for drinking, irrigation, and industries. Okay. If we just go with the flood management, so it will help in forecasting and preventing flood damage. Okay. Then drought predictions. So in a drought prediction, like it will forecast if there will be high flood, so it can easily forecast. Okay, if we have developed the EWS, that is early warning system. Environmental conservation, like protect natural habitat and biodiversity. So these are the main importance of the hydro. Okay. Then if we just talk about the models, like what is the hydrological models and what kind of types. So the main purpose for the hydrological model is used to predict water movement, flooding, and resource management. So like rainfall runoff model predict how rainfall turn into the runoff. So there are several models like HMS Mike 11. So those are using for the rainfall runoff model. Then the groundwater models, so it will simulate the water that is moving in a subsurface. So we can use a mode flow, we can use a feed flow. Hydraulic models, okay. So used to study the water flow of the water in the river, channel and reservoirs. Okay. Then we need to see the challenges. What kind of challenges we have observed into the hydrology? So first challenge is the climate change. So climate change is impacting a lot, like continuously temperature is rising and it will affect the precipitation pattern, water availability and the flood risk. Urbanization is continuously going on. So if higher urbanization is there, then impervious layer is forming, then the surface runoff is more. Pollution like the contamination of freshwater source. Okay, so it will making the hydrological cycles in a very critical position. Like entire things are affected if we impact on one component. Okay. So we'll go with the applications of the hydrology like flood management, flood forecasting, and the flood management. So here the main application like early warning system to prevent loss of life and property, and the water supply system like ensure adequate water supply for the domestic and industrial needs. So these are the another application, and we can talk about the environmental protection. So it will monitor ecosystem and that depends on the water resource. And then climate impact, there is a climate change impact. So it will also help to understand that how climate change alter the water system. So in a conclusion, like hydrology is essential in managing water resource, addressing environmental challenges, and preparing for the future water related issues. The study of hydrology is critical for sustainable development and environmental preservation. So if we simplify the hydrology, so hydrology is the science and technology that will give the clear impact how the water is forming from ocean to the atmosphere and from atmosphere to the ocean through the land surface. Okay, so this complete cycle is a part of the hydrology. Okay, so now you have a clear understanding of how water moves across the earth surface through the hydrological processes. Okay, so in the next video we will go deeper into the groundwater flow and the groundwater behavior. We'll focus on some live example and then we'll discuss. Okay, so if you are really interested in mastering the hydrology, please subscribe the channel. Okay, thank you.